All right, Cowboys fans, taking it now to a new segment here on the Cowboys Report. Having played a little bit of true or false. We'll take you through some burning questions around the Cowboys. We'll get your thoughts on what's going to actually happen, and I'll chime in as well. So first up, true or false? The Cowboys will trade for Earl Thomas. Now, as we said earlier in the show, I'm still keeping this in the 2-star category. I think we're kind of close to around 50% right now. I would love an Earl Thomas trade to go down. He'd be a huge boost for the Cowboys at free safety. Thomas continues to hold out from the Seahawks. Dallas has a definitive interest in making a deal for Thomas, but it's not about the Cowboys right now. The trade is dependent on Seattle making a decision. So, folks, type 1 for true or type 2 for false as to whether or not the Cowboys will trade for Earl Thomas. As for myself, I will cheat and I will say true-ish, and namely because I think it is kind of close to 50%, maybe it's 45%, but if you had to make me say a definitive answer one way or the other, will Thomas be traded? As of right now, I'd lean toward yes, he will be traded to the Dallas Cowboys. All right, next up on Cowboys True or False, Rico Gathers will make the 53-man roster. Type A for true and type B for false. It's not looking great for Rico quite right now. He did get some work with the first team during a recent walkthrough, but he missed all 2017 with a head injury. The blocking and focus are still concerns, and most importantly, Rico is stuck at 4th on the Cowboys depth chart right now. That means he is behind Dalton Schultz, he is behind Jeff Swaim, and he is behind Blake Jarwin. That makes it a little bit unlikely unless the Cowboys want to go with 4 tight ends, but folks, I don't know if that's going to happen. So again, A for true, B for false. I'm typing in B. I don't think Rico will make the roster. The Cowboys are going to go heavy at quarterback. They'll take 3. They might take an extra receiver as well. And in the end, that might end up costing Rico a roster spot. And you know he might not make it to the practice squad either. All right, next up. Do you plan to gamble on football this fall? Type bet for true, type no for false. Now, for those of you that typed in bet and do plan, I got a deal for you guys. Head over to chatsports.com/bet. Use promo code Cowboys120 for the best deal out there, a 120% deposit bonus when you sign up at chatsports.com/bet. You put in 100, you're going to end up with 220 there to bet, and probably bet on the Cowboys as well, because let's not kid ourselves here, they're going to have a good season. Again, it's chatsports.com/bet. Promo code is Cowboys120. If you have any issues at all, just DM me on Twitter at WhatGoingDowney. Taking now to some more Cowboys True or False. Next up, I should say, Jason Garrett will be the Cowboys head coach in 2019. Type T for true and F for false on this one. As for Garrett, well, we know he's on the hot seat. Don't let Jerry Jones tell you otherwise, even though he was sitting right next to Jason Garrett. What's he going to say? He's on the hot seat? Of course he's not. Garrett is on the hot seat this year. It was a down year last year for the Cowboys, and most importantly, you got to have more playoff success. The Cowboys have made it just twice in Garrett's tenure with just the 1 win. It's playoffs or bust this year for Garrett, and if they do make it, he might have to win a game as well. But again, folks, T for true, F for false on if Garrett will be the Cowboys head coach in 2019. I am going with false. As I've said before, I'm not convinced the Cowboys will make the playoffs, and if that's the case, I think Garrett is on the outs. It's a very, very tough NFC. That's going to be a big hurdle for the Cowboys to clear. Next up, Ezekiel Elliott will lead the NFL in rushing yards, and I am all aboard the Zeke train this year. I'm targeting him in every fantasy draft that I'm doing. Type yes for true that, or type Y for true that he will, and type N for false that no he won't. I think the reality is Zeke is going to get fed a massive workload this year. He's shown up in good shape to camp, and most importantly, he has led the NFL in yards per game the last 2 years. I think he plays in all 16. I think he puts up around 1,600 yards. And in the end, he leads the NFL in rushing yards for the 2nd time. So I'm putting down true on this one. I think he will. And I think, as I've already seen here, quite a few of you agree with me as well. Next up, to defense. Byron Jones will be the Cowboys' #1 cornerback this year. Byron has looked really good in camp so far. I have been very impressed by him. He is a natural at cornerback. So type in C for true and D for false if you don't agree. As for the secondary, I don't mean this as a knock to Cheeto or Jordan Lewis, and, well, kind of one Anthony Brown who's had some issues so far in camp. but I think that Byron Jones is the perfect fit for the Chris Richard scheme. I think Richard wants him to become the top guy, and I think that Byron Jones absolutely can be. So, folks, again, C for true, D for false. I am typing in C that, yes, Byron Jones will be the Cowboys' #1 cornerback this year. The good news is I think Cheeto will also have a very good season. Next up on Cowboys True or False, a Cowboys player will kneel during the national anthem. Now, Jerry Jones has made this very clear as to how he feels. I know some of you have as well. Type in K for true, as in yes, you think someone will kneel, or type in S for false, that they're only going to stand. I think it's been made very clear by Jerry, and I've mentioned this before as well. The Cowboys are not going to go against Jones. Jerry gets what he wants, and the Cowboys are very loyal to Jones. I think this is false. There will not be a player who kneels. Maybe a guy like Orlando Skandrick would have, but he is no longer on the roster. I think this one is false. Back to offense here, and Dak Prescott, will he have a bounce back year? Now, I guess on one hand, it depends on how you define a bounce back year, but type in T for true and F for false. I think Dak is going to be a much better quarterback this year. The numbers might not fully show it, but his issues last year were in the second half of the year when he either A, had to deal with no Tyron Smith and a bad left tackle, and without Ezekiel Elliott. While it's true he will not have Des Bryant and Jason Witten, I think he's going to be a better quarterback because Zeke and the offensive line are going to be much more like they were in their rookie campaign. So I am typing in T here. I think it is true. I think that Dak will have a bounce back year. He's not going to be at the Carson Wentz type numbers here in his first year, but I think it is true. Dak will have a bounce back season, even if it's not quite the same highs that maybe everyone is hoping for after what they saw in that first campaign. One last Cowboys true or false. The Cowboys will win the NFC East. Give me a 1 for a true and a 2 for a false. It's a very tough division. The Philadelphia Eagles, of course, just won the Super Bowl. The Giants are going to be a lot better. I'm not that worried about the Redskins, but they're not going to be an easy out either. So, folks, I know you guys might not like this, but I'm going with a 2 for false on this one. I think the Cowboys finished second, but I don't think they do enough to get in and win the NFC East. They'll be a borderline playoff team, but I'm not feeling super confident about the Cowboys' chances to win the NFC East this season, unless the Eagles get hit hard by injuries. Folks, today's show was brought to you by BetDSI, the internet's #1 sportsbook. Go to chatsports.com/bet and use promo code Cowboys120 for a 120% deposit bonus when you sign up. If you have any questions, hit me up on Twitter at WhatGoingDowney. And until next time, we'll see you.